Hi, everybody. It's Susan Lavender. I'm Assistant Director of Admissions here at the Culinary Institute of America. Well, not here, obviously, but in spirit. I've been with the college about 14 years. My husband's been teaching at the college for about 20 years in the American Bounty restaurant. Some of you may have even had him. So this is really near and dear to my heart to be able to manage this new online bachelor's program specifically for CIA graduates. Because again, my husband is a graduate. I have I hold a certificate in wine through the California campus. You know, in the time that my husband and I have been with the college, we've seen many, many students come through and be very successful. And, you know, when a lot of you attended CIA, we didn't have a bachelor's degree. So it's taken time for us to develop this, but finally we do have a bachelor's program that's going to be very manageable for you while you work. Or if you're not working, it'll work with your time. It's flexible. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and get started with this.
I'm a 92 grad and worked out in the industry in contract dining on college campuses for about 24 years and did a few things kind of in between. I worked for Aramark and Sodexo mostly for the most part. And then almost 4 years ago this month, I saw a job opening at admissions on the CIA campus and applied, and here I am. So I work in admissions at the CIA. I am an admissions counselor, but I also am in charge of all admissions events for New York, California, and Texas.
Which is a huge job.
Yeah, I forget you guys have campuses everywhere.
Yeah. So it's, you know, it was, you know, a job before COVID. And then once COVID hit, we had to absolutely flip everything into this online platform. So my old brain had to churn really quickly and learn a lot of different things. So we did it. We worked as a team, and we were up and running within a couple of weeks once we realized that the 2-week period was was going to be a little bit longer than that. So,
Wow.
And Lee, what are you currently doing?
Currently, I am a chef and food service director for Eleor North America, which is based out of Charlotte, North Carolina, and I work under their umbrella under a company called Cura Hospitality, which is a contract food service for surgical hospital in Fort Worth. So that's what I've been doing. I've been doing it for just a little over 3 years now.
Well, and you had a ton of experience before you even came to CIA too.
Of course, yeah, my father was in the restaurant industry and hotel industry, so I grew up with it in the household and in the blood, I guess, by association, and that's how I got into it. You know, I just felt that I needed to refine my skills, and that's when I went to CIA San Antonio in 2009, graduated in 2010 with a culinary arts certificate. Then I felt that I needed more, so here I go to Hyde Park, spend 9 months up at Hyde Park and get my AOS in culinary arts, and now I want more, and so I'm currently in the bachelor's program and then hopefully going for my master's.
Awesome.
Yes.
Now, you two, I mean, talking about that, you two have been very successful, as have you two. So what, Lee and Ron, like, how do you feel this bachelor's degree is going to enhance that success? Like, what's your goal? Why are you doing it?
Well, first of all, when I graduated, the AOS was the only degree that was open and available. And then shortly thereafter, a couple of years is when they started to offer the bachelor's degrees. And, you know, I had the intention of going back and getting it, but life and career happened and boom, here we were 24 years later. But to have the opportunity to get this bachelor's degree now, number one, it's, you know, it's always been a dream of mine to do. But number two, career-wise, it's something that I wouldn't say necessarily held me back. I had a very successful career, but it was always, I always kind of reached the same level. Like I never could like get to the next, you know, through that ceiling kind of a thing. And I've got the experience behind me, but I don't have the educational creds. So this is an opportunity to do both those things. And I'm looking at this, once this is finished, similar to Lee, possibly moving on to my master's as well. It's just, now that I've kind of got that education bug again, it's been a really good experience, especially at this age. I'm 54, so it's something where I really enjoy it, and I'm really getting a lot out of it from the classes that we're taking so far.
Okay, and Lee?
So tell me the question again.
Oh, I will. So you've had so much success with just your associate degree.
Mhm.
What guided you toward doing this program? Like, what do you want to achieve from getting that online bachelor's with us?
I think what my primary goal is to be able to, earn my bachelor's degree, to be able to climb higher up on the ladder. And it's almost as if back in the day, an associate's was good enough, and now the bachelor's is almost mandatory, and even a master's degree is starting to become as a almost not a requirement, but it's kind of preferred, or they look at it as, wow, they've really got it going on, kind of thing. And I think one of the benefits of going the online route is because, one, you don't have room and board, so you're not staying on campus. You don't have to just uproot your whole entire life and stay on campus. And you have a job and family and kids and so many things going on. And for us to be able to do those kinds of things is virtually impossible. And so for us to be able to have this opportunity to do an online, it's very much of a win-win. Not to mention it costing almost $25,000 cheaper.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because of room and board. So that right there was like, when I was going through CIA in 13 for my associates, they had approved me for a bachelor's, and I'm like, man, I just can't do it again with for another 70,000. I said, that's just another mortgage payment in itself, kind of thing. And you got to look at it the way, and it's like, you know what, I've got a degree, I'm good to go. And now here we are later on in life, and it's like, I kind of really need that in order to be able to get up into the next step into the upper echelon of upper management, executive management, in order to be able to to be even more successful than I already am.
Well, and speaking of that time management kind of thing, and this being good for that, like how are you managing your time while doing this? Because I know both of you work more than full time, so it's how is that going?
In the beginning, it was a little bit stressful because I, number one, hadn't been in a classroom setting or education setting in over 20 years, and let alone an online type of environment. But it is something that you adapt to very, very quickly. And you learn, a lot of the way that these classes are set up. Assignments are due a little bit later in the week. So if you do a little bit each day, if you can, I found that, it doesn't build up. And then all of a sudden you're like, I have 8 hours worth of work I got to do, and it's Sunday and the assignment's due at midnight. But it's, it can get hectic at times. There's the opportunity per semester to take up to 3 classes. And if you're taking all 3 classes, it can get a little crazy just trying to manage your time. But if you map it out and you work it so it's a little bit each day, it does work out. And I've gotten into a really good rhythm, and it doesn't even faze me anymore.
I wanted to ask more into that. And hi, Ron. Catherine here. I think that we maybe emailed back and forth once before, but great to meet all of you. Yeah, just to kind of like go through a week in terms of like, when is an assignment kind of introduced virtually, is that through, I mean, I kind of have like a list of questions, but maybe if I, yeah, so for instance, like, are those assignments that a professor gives to us, is that through the portal? And then is there kind of like an allowed time to kind of work on that? And then there's a deliverable at some sort of date and time for you to kind of submit. And then within that submission, do you have to send that via email or present, or yeah, maybe kind of walk through an example.
So everything that that the classes are offered on is the platform is called Moodle, and so most of the classes have it's a 15-week semester. Some of the classes are 15 full weeks. Some of them are shorter classes. So there's three. If you're taking 3 classes, there's usually, they model it, 1 class is 15 weeks. And then the other 2 classes are about 7 weeks. So what they basically are doing is they're taking a 15-week class and they're putting it into a 7-week model. And that can get a little hairy, but again, once you start to balance it, so the 2 classes it's the first 7 weeks and then another class the next 7 weeks. It's not all 3 classes at once. Mm-hmm. So at any given time, you're really taking 2 classes. Mm-hmm. So what they do is they put the assignments out on a weekly basis. So they usually open it up on a Monday. So Monday you go in, you look, you read through what the assignments are. They include a video lecture, and then there's some reading. There might be some like electronic handouts that they send you, and then there's something that they call a discussion forum, where they will ask you questions about the assignment that was given. And then you respond to those questions, you answer them, and then people within the class respond to your answers. It's their way of having some kind of class interaction, because it is asynchronous. So we're not meeting on a weekly regular basis.
Got it.
Lee, go ahead, sorry.
And then the last part is there's usually 1 weekly assignment that is handed in directly to the professor. And that's usually done in the Moodle. You either attach the document to, within Moodle or something like that. And it's done that way. We've had, Lee, we've had assignments where we've done video assignments. They're very short. It's like a 30-second thing, kind of thing. Most of it is written in term paper form or short papers kind of thing, 300 words, 500 words, depending. We had 1 class that was really heavy in vocabulary and definitions. So we had to hand those in on a weekly basis. It really depends on the class, at what the assignments are. Some professors have 2 assignment due dates, like 1 on a Wednesday, 1 on a Friday, or a Friday and a Sunday. Some of them have everything due on a Sunday. And there's also some professors that put in quizzes as part of the ending for the week as well. So all of that is part of it. It doesn't all happen at once. So,
right. Yeah.
Don't freak out that you're like, oh my God. But there are some classes that are a little intense, right, as far as the learning and the timing of them. But then there's some that are really amazing, that you really get a lot out of. So I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, Lee. Do you have anything to add, Lee?
Well, I think that Ron put the nail on the head as far as the class structure, how things are going. The 15-week class, then 2 7-week classes. So it really balances everything out to where you're not just getting hammered with 3 classes all in a row. It's spread out to where it's manageable, and you're still able to have a life and a work life. And with all of us being in the hospitality industry, sometimes I can get, some really long hours. And, believe it or not, the professors and instructors, they do have compassion for what we do. And what I also have noticed that in our class is that we are an older group of people that are all professionals, and I think that we think in a different type of way, because I think we take things a little more seriously than some of these youngins do. And it's a great thing, because when we're first teamed up and doing a group assignment, and everybody knows that whenever you're in school and you're in a group assignment, that it's like somebody's going to be doing all the work and the other people are just going to kind of be just resting on the laurels. Well, the really cool thing about it is that since we have all matured and we've all grown up, we all pitch in and we just rock it.
Yeah.
And it was really successful, and it really was like, okay, we could do that again. I'm good with that, kind of thing. So I think it's a great way to be able to learn and to work and have a life and home life and everything else while going to school.
Yeah, definitely. I was going to, sorry, Susan, I just want one more thing. I just want to say too, the camaraderie, it's very CIA. So it's very, we're all CIA grads. So you get that feeling of like old home, like, I'm back in it again, like kind of thing. And it's great to have that like discussion forum interaction, because in the beginning I kind of felt like, geez, I'm out here like all on my own, like I don't, that kind of thing. But as soon as we started with the discussions and the answering back and forth and doing different things, that like Lee said, the group assignments and the different assignments that we had to do and whatnot, we've really formed our group. I really feel like, the cohort that we started back in September, that's my CIA group, that I'm going with, and it's great.
Well, Lee, tell us about a class you've taken so far. Maybe even one you've really loved, or, challenging, like however you want to address it.
I think my most favorite class that I've taken so far, and I think Ron would probably agree, was with Dr. Reed. And it was about sustainability and the environment, and different plants and compost and how things work on a farm and growing vegetables. And he's got a video series where him and his daughter go out in a field and talk about different plants. And it was really interesting how all that went down.
Yeah, that was a really, really interesting class, and it really kind of reawakened some things that I had learned back when I was an AOS student that I was really excited about. And then, again, career and, work and life happened, and I kind of like some of that fell to the side. But then going through this class was really, it really reinvigorated a lot of what I feel about sustainability and organics and, the environment and all those things.
Yeah, so just in terms of Moodle, and then obviously like receiving assignments through that, but then also have there been times where you do need to kind of meet face to face, midday? What types? Could you maybe explain those types of occurrences?
Sure. So the professors have all been easily accessible. So they have office hours. They have they try to coordinate times when the class can kind of meet via Teams. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It usually ends up being like, okay, we're going to meet Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and whoever can show up kind of thing. Because we're all over the country, time zones and different things. And then, but yeah, it's usually, we the class as a whole doesn't actually meet and, to go over anything or anything like that. It's the like I said, all of the professors record their lectures.
Okay.
It's a video, you watch the lecture, and then again, there's assignments for readings. There might be some different things out of the textbooks or handouts, those kinds of things. And then the assignments of like questions and papers and those types of things.
Perfect. That answered them.
Okay. All right. Thank you, everybody. I'm really proud of everybody and the way that CIA graduates just still continue to lead, and you're just so generous and wonderful. Okay. Bye.